Hello, manifestors. It is Olivia Grace, and I'm back with another video for you all. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the God state. And I just did a video on this a few days ago. And I'm actually going to record a part 2 as well, but I wanted to come live and just hear what you guys' questions are. Even if you're catching this after it's live, you can comment your question because I am going to be making a part 2 and I want to make sure that I'm hitting on the things that you guys want me to hit on. So in the meantime, I'm going to I'm going to answer some common questions that I get about the God state, and questions that there's someone who asked a question in a comment, and she had a few good questions in one comment. So I'm going to answer that and just put on a little bit of makeup. In about 30 minutes, I was trying to get on here earlier, but yeah, in about 30 minutes, I do have my Neville reading with the members. So I have only about 30 minutes, so I won't be able to get to everybody's question. But you guys can go ahead and ask your questions while I go ahead and get started. But before I do, I am Olivia Grace. This is the Master Manifestors channel. Here I talk about law of assumption, manifestation, all that good stuff. I am here to reintroduce you to your God self and to help you in releasing any perceived limits and just live your greatest, best life. So if you're interested in that, you should be a part of the channel. If you would like help from me, then I have all the ways linked in the description. So yeah. And also, you guys, I'm also thinking of offering like rampages, like a congratulations rampage, for your desires. Just let me know if that'd be something you would be interested in. All right, let's get started. So one of the first questions that I always hear is, if I'm God of my reality, if we're all gods of our reality, then whose intention wins, right? If me and another God of their reality are manifesting the same thing, then who gets it if we're all gods, right? So great question. Now, a lot of times, most times, how it works out is that most times we don't want exactly the same thing, right? Like, it's very rare for us to want the exact thing or person or whatever, right? But if you do, whoever's intention is more dominant, like let's say it's a specific person, you and this person both like the same person, whoever's assumption is dominant, that they're going to choose me, I'm the chosen one, right? Whoever is dominant is going to be that, because you can both be thinking that, but there's different degrees, right, to that. So I would say, like, you just assume that you're the dominant one, right? Assuming that you have it is the best way anyways, right? Rather than who's going to win, right? You should always be assuming that you're going to win, right? Whatever it is, you should always be assuming your victory, right? Now, what I personally believe is that a lot of times you don't have to take from someone to get what you want. So for instance, like, let's take the same situation, you and somebody like the same person, and you're affirming for things to go your way, but maybe it happens in a way where they just decide, I don't like that person anymore, right? And you win, right? It can happen in ways that are not taking from people, even if it's something like a competition, right? Or you're winning money or something like that, and you're like, I want to win, but I don't want to take from other people. Like, the thing is, you guys, everybody's story is playing out, right? Like, let's take a competition, and you feel bad because the other person is really, really wanting it and they worked so hard, and they're not getting it, right? Well, you winning can still prosper them in some way. Like, you winning something can still prosper something. A lot of us, like, for instance, before I got serious about my channel, right? This was years ago. before I was consistently posting, I wanted to be a flight attendant. And I really wanted to be a flight attendant because I really wanted to travel. And in my mind at that time, like that was the only way that I could see myself traveling to the extent that I could, right? And I literally did the interview, and for the interview that I did, we had to do like kind of like a speech in front of everybody. And I did great, obviously, because I'm a great speaker. And I like literally the girls that were there were literally coming up to me like, you were the best one. Like, you did incredible. You did amazing. And I didn't get the job. You know, I didn't get the job. And at that time, it felt like, damn, that's a loss, right? That's an L. But you guys, like, I'm sorry, me being a flight attendant versus what I'm doing now, I would much rather prefer this. But had I did that and got that dream, I wouldn't be fulfilling my bigger dream now. You see what I'm saying? So in that time, someone could think like, oh, like, you know, and let's say it was something like that, like flight attendant, like being a flight attendant, you guys, it's a very sought after job. It's a cool ass job. You know, it's very competitive. And let's say, you know, someone was a manifestor there with me and she's like, oh, but I think Olivia should have it, but I know there's only one spot and I want to have it. It's like, just manifest that it's working out for everyone involved. And a lot of times, you guys, you can't see how. I, for sure, back then could not foresee how that was working for me, right? But it was. So anyways, I don't want to spend too much time on that one question, but it's a common question of, if we're both gods of our reality, who gets it? Whoever is more dominant in their assumption, and or you just intending that it works out for everyone, it can work out to where even you being the chosen one is worked out. Like, a lot of people have the idea that, well, in their reality, they win, right? Which is another type of, you know, it's another type of thinking, but, you know, I don't want to, that's going to take too long to try and explain. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So let's talk about more about oneness and separation and truth. Okay. So oneness, right? The oneness aspect of being God of your reality is that the animating force that is being you is one energy. The energy, there's not a specific energy that's being Olivia and then an energy that's being you. There's not a specific energy that responds to Christians and then a different energy that responds to Jewish people. Like, there's not a separation. Anytime there's a us and them type of identity or idea, it's coming from the illusion. It's coming from humanity, right? Because we're all one. Even the fact of me looking like this couch behind me, I'm aware that I'm not that couch, right? But like, deeply, I am, right? I am everything. I am is everything, right? You can kind of put is in between what you're saying when you're saying I am. Like, I am is Olivia. I am is the couch. I am is everything. I am is money. I am is people, right? So everything is that one energy. So this is why the golden rule is so important, you guys, because even if you don't see it in the moment, what you're doing to others is being done to you on some level, right? So I am is all. So that is the oneness, right? This is why you can't really be separate from anything, right? You can't really, like, something that's been happening with my clients is they're like, you're so psychic. Like, if you guys caught the live I did with Gabby the other day, she's like, you're so psychic. One of my other clients is like, you're so psychic. Like, how are you knowing these things? You're saying these things and then they're happening. And how do I know? Is because we're all psychic, you guys. We're all psychic because there is no separation. There's not even time, right? So what I'm tapping into that hasn't happened yet has already happened, right? And I'm just seeing it, right? I'm perceiving it. And really being psychic is about tapping into this energy and being able to decipher energy, right? So we're all one because God is one and we are God and God is us, right? I think that's a good way to kind of think of it. I don't know where my spray is, you guys, but that's a good way to think of it, that not only are we God, but God is us. God is being us, okay? Okay, so the truth, right? Now, let's get a little more trippy, a little deeper. Okay. the fundamental truth being love, being God. Because think about this, right? I can't remember the exact verse, but it's like in the beginning, there was, I don't even know what they say. Maybe one of y'all can type it. But in the beginning, there was something, and, you know, without God, there was nothing made, right? And so basically, like, God, let's think about this in a linear way, that there was a time where none of this existed, right? And there was only God. So if there was only God in the beginning, then everything has to be made out of God, right? God could not make something that was not out of itself, because God is all that there is and all that there has been and all that there ever will be, right? So that being that, God is the fundamental, like, truth. And but if you are the fundamental truth, right? Like, let's say, for instance, this is going to sound crazy. It's giving me a crazy visual right now. But let's say everybody in the world was Olivia. Everybody's Olivia. So everybody and technically this is true, but everybody I go is exactly like me, looks like me, talks like me, thinks like me. I wouldn't be able to have an experience of like real friendship other than with myself, or real love, right? What allows me to have that experience is that there's someone different than me, right? That I can either relate to in a positive way or a negative way. But the fact that I go outside and there's a Tommy, there's a Susie, there's a somebody, right? There's something else for me to compare myself to, right? And when I say compare, it's not about, oh, that person's prettier than me or that person's smart. It's just, oh, this person is in this way, I'm in this way, right? Like, my SP and I are actually, we're very the same in a lot of ways, but very opposite in a lot of ways, right? But I like that. I'm not like, oh no, I want him to be exactly the same like me. Like, I like the fact that he's very logical, because it allows me to not have to be logical, right? But I get to experience that, right? I get to experience, oh, here's what it's like to live mostly with logic. Here's what it's like to live mostly with feeling and intuition. Ooh, here's what the difference is. Ooh, here's what it's like when I try to do something that's not really, you know, exactly what I feel like doing. Here's what it is. Like, you get to experience all the different facets and parts and beings of differences, because we're not all the same, right? So all that to say, this is how God is having the experience through us, right? Because you can't experience something that's only you. So, but God, because God is all that there is, let me get to my makeup, because I just be talking and not doing my makeup. But because God is all that there is, he can't not be that, right? There's nothing else to create anything out of, because there's only God. So he was like, okay, I might not be able to not be God, but what if I couldn't remember that I was God? Like, what if I didn't know that? And like, when it comes to like hatred and fear and lack and all of these things, these are all the things that are not like God, right? That allow us to have the experience of not being God, right? So think about how fun. Think if any of you guys have a best friend or a cousin or even your siblings that you've grown up with, that you've loved, right? Think about that experience of growing up, right? Seeing them be young and remembering, like, oh my gosh, like me, when I get together with my god sister, all we do is reminisce on how it used to be and what we used to do and how fun it was growing up together and how crazy it is that we're adults and, you know, all of these things. Why are we able to have that experience though? Because of time, right? Because I can remember thinking when I was a kid, I can't wait to be 15. When I'm 15, I'll be so grown. I remember thinking at 15, ooh, I can't wait to get married and have kids at 21 and 22, right? I remember all of these different times of life, right? And so, but if everything is now, you can't experience that. So that is why, you know, that's part of the experience that we're having here. But so God, though, is all perfection, it's all wholeness, it's all completion. But it is having the experience of forgetting that as us, as everything, right? So that is why the truth is love. That is why the things that feel good, right? You feel better when you're loving someone than when you're hating someone, right? Think about that really quick, because a lot of times we think that hating someone is beneficial to us, right? No, I should feel like this. This anger is good. It's good for me to hate this person. They're wrong. They're bad. And this anger and hatred is going to teach them a lesson. But you don't feel good when you're angry. You don't feel good when you're hating. It actually sets up disease in your body, right? To be like that. So you see that all the things, even fear, right? Lack, scarcity. Oh, I can't have, I don't have, right? All of these things that we think, well, it benefits me to think like that. This is true, but it doesn't feel good because it's not the truth, right? It's not the truth. Sometimes like you think like, well, what about billionaires? They're evil, but those evil billionaires, trust me, they're not experiencing life well. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean that you're experiencing a good life. If you're constantly fighting and not at peace within yourself, you're not having a good life. Okay? So the truth of living well, right, is all of these things that is God. Perfection, ease, joy, giving, right? Peace, abundance, wealth, happiness, right? Anything that promotes separation, you guys. Anything that says there's a us against them. There's a book called Reality Transurfing. I suggest it's a book I recommend. But in it, he talks about, I can't remember how, he calls them pendulums. And it's basically like these different systems in play that say like, you know, hey, be a part of our, you know, our group. We all think the same. And that thinking the same is something like, oh, you know, us against them, right? We can take just like religion, for instance, right? But they do this with everything. It's us against them in religion. It's us against them in gender. It's us against them in sexuality. It's us against them in color. It's us against them in everything, right? There's a us, the right team, and there's a wrong team that we're going against. That's our opposition. And so when you're saying though, it's us against them, right? You're not in your God state, because God is not, there is no us against them. There's only us. It's really only I, right? So that's what I was saying about the pendulums, was he was saying how these organizations or these things that they're actually harvesting your energy, right? And don't take that so deep, because I don't believe in all that, like, oh, harvesting energy, didn't like all that shit. I just don't give attention to it, right? But they're actually using your energy. You're thinking like, oh yeah, we're working together for some cause, but it's just that thing is taking your energy. It's keeping you in hatred. It's keeping you in separation. Even though it seems like, well, we're doing that because they deserve it. The them over there are wrong, so they deserve it, and it benefits you to join our hate group and hate them, right? But it doesn't. Anything that is teaching you hatred, anything that's teaching you an us against them type of ideal, is not for you. It's not for your highest good. And here's the thing. Sometimes, because I've noticed, and I've said this before, there's an overcorrection, right? So when someone, for instance, let's take religion again, right? So when someone is like, oh, you know, like, I'm all Christianity, I'm all this, you know, everyone's going to hell, like, right? And then you wake up to spirituality, and then it's like, oh my God, wow, that, you know, that wasn't really true, you know? Like, oh, okay. So now I see that religion is horrible. Religion is horrible now. This is bad. Oh my God. Like all this stuff. And it's like, it's then you come back, right? You swing from religion is everything. This is the correct truth. Everything else is bad and wrong and evil and demonic. Then you're like, well, wait a minute. That's not true. Well, then everything religion said is bad and wrong and stupid and wrong. And then it's a middle part of understanding that there's truth in everything. I want to do my bottom, but I don't have any Q-tips, so that's not going to go good. But anyways, okay. I've been going on and on. Let me read some of y'all's questions. Okay, so I'm seeing two SP questions. I was gonna skip it, to be honest, but I see it again, so I'm gonna answer this. How to ignore the 3D when it comes to the SP, right? Like, think about it like this, y'all. It's not really about ignoring the 3D per se. It's about knowing what you decided. So, because this is the thing, a lot of this, like, people are coming from a this hasn't happened and how do I make it happen type of deal, and that's not the way. It already happened. What you're doing is keeping your mind in agreement with that it already happened. So it's not about ignoring the 3D. It's knowing that I placed my order for this person or this relationship or this love or whatever, and it's true now. It's true. There's nothing else I need to do about it. So whatever is happening in 3D must be working towards fulfilling my desire, because that's the only thing. That's the thing, guys. It's not about really ignoring 3D. It's about not seeing whatever is happening in 3D as a hindrance, right? I was saying this today, and like, I was saying this to a client today about like a kid. If you have a toddler and your toddler has a birthday party to go to tonight, and then when they get home, their cousins are going to be there and they're going to play with their cousins, but it's 1 p.m. right now, and that toddler is like, I want to go outside, and you're like, no, you'll have more fun if you take a nap right now, right? So, but the toddler's like, no, I want to have fun right now. I don't want to take a nap, right? So the toddler can fight that experience, but the fun was already there, right? The mom was just saying, hey, here's the best way for you to have fun. You're going to have less fun if you're tired and fussy and cranky, right? But the toddler can only see what's in front of it right then. So it thinks that the best amount of fun that it could have right now is going outside right now, which that's not true, right? So now when they get to the real fun part, they're not having fun because they're tired because they didn't want to take their nap, right? So it's really about just trusting what looks wrong or what looks like whatever. You don't have to agree with that. You don't have to agree that it's wrong. You can say like, no, this is leading to it can't be wrong. The only way it can go is my way. All ways are redirecting to my way in the best, most easiest, most amazing way. So the best advice I can tell all of y'all here that is in line with the God state when it comes to your desires is stop trying to make it be done. All that trying to make it be done is you admitting it's not done and I have to do something about it, which God never feels like. Okay? God doesn't feel like that. God lives in fulfillment all the time. God did not say, oh, here's Pluto. Now I got to figure out how to do Saturn. I never did rings before. I mean, I'd like a Saturn, but do I deserve a Saturn? What's my self-concept around creating planets? I don't know. There's no teacher. Like, no. It's like, oh, this is what I like. Then it's like that. Period. Stop questioning yourself. Stop doubting yourself. Stop giving anybody supremacy over what you decided. That's it. Stop feeling like I have to make something happen and start accepting. My girl, I believe her name is Myra or Marie, but she emailed me her success story, and something she said in there just really stood out to me, which was, I know that I placed my order and so it's on the way. Like I've literally been riding on that. Like, and it feels so much better than, but what do I have to do? Even getting into the God state, you guys, right? But how do I get in the God state? You decide that you are, because you are. You are. You're literally, that's your truth. That's who you are. Like, that's your truth, actually, more than all this other shit. Ooh, wow. Source is truth. What a great question. To the best of your ability, can you describe what the God state feels like physically in your body? Yes. Physically, it feels like extreme ease. Like extreme relaxation, like no tension. Just like complete flow, like almost if you are just completely surrendered. Like if you're laying down or like floating or like just in complete relax, like when you meditate. But the difference is, like, it's you realizing that there's nothing I have to do. That is the feeling. Every time I rise in power, rise in awareness. That is the awareness. There's, oh, I don't have to do anything. It's done on my behalf. Oh, that's so nice. I don't have to do anything. I can feel good. I can actually just focus on feeling good. Instead of focusing on how to fix all my problems, I can actually just focus on enjoying, because my problems are already fixed. Like everybody right now, like what would you think, feel, do if your problems were fixed already? How would you live life? Like instead of like spending all day researching and like, oh, I have to make sure that I do this thing correct to get something that I don't have, and staying in that state for years because you're not understanding that it's not the thing, y'all. Let me tell you, as somebody who manifested, like the life that I'm living right now, you guys, is pretty much everything that I've ever wanted. And I still find myself in the state of looking, what's next? When's this though? That's not good enough, right? Because the truth is, it's not about the thing. It's how you want to feel. You want to feel incredible every day. You want to feel like every day is an amazing day. You want to feel like positive things are happening to me. You want to feel like you're expecting positive things for yourself. You want to feel like everybody loves you. You want to feel like you love yourself. You want to feel like everything you do is successful and amazing and perfect. You can just feel like that. And then the best part is that your life reflects that in the ways that you want it to, and the ways that you're not even aware that you want it to. It's a win-win. Aw, Joy, you're so sweet. That's my middle name. Okay. I used to journal a lot, but now in LOA, writing about the 3D seems counterproductive. How can I document my life without reaffirming the 3D? It's so funny because this is like, I've just recently started journaling again. And the way you can actually use journaling in such a productive way. Instead of like, oh, hey, if y'all ever seen that meme with Doug, and he was like, Dear Diary, today everybody had me fucked up. Instead of using it like that, use it to highlight your positive experiences. Like I just created a note in my phone that said, wonderful things keep happening to me. And I'm going to use it as like a gratitude thing, right? And just from today, I had like 8 amazing things that have already happened to me, right? And so the thing is, truthfully, Lover Goddess, is that amazing things are happening to us all day, but we just don't remember them. We don't count them. We're like, yeah, all this nice stuff happened, but my $1 million didn't happen, man, but I was in traffic. Oh, you know, like how we highlight all of these things. So number 1, use your journaling to highlight what good is going on, and use it to talk about your new life, right? Use it to script, use it to intend. And here's a bonus tip, is use it to script from like gratitude, right? Gratitude for the life that you're living. Like realize that your life, like when you sit and like talk about, you know, the negative things or you know, and I'm not telling you to not get your feelings out. Like if you use that as a place to like vent or get your feelings out, that's fine. But I would say do less of that and more intending. More of putting your attention on what you would like to experience. Okay? But journaling is very powerful, you guys. I used to journal all the time and I stopped. And I like recently I was like, you know, I think this is the best way for focusing for me, because you're sitting down and you're focusing, but it's not something you have to worry about all day long. Oops. I wrote down a list of everything I want in an SP, but mind you, I was also manifesting one person that was ghosting me. The other day, someone else popped up and was giving me all the energy I want. I feel like, you know, I don't know, you guys. I honestly, I don't like talking about the SP stuff because I don't feel like, I don't know if I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all want to hear, you know, like, but I just think that you should follow what makes you feel good, right? If somebody else is treating you well, then, and you like that, then, you know, talk to them. If you're like, I like this, but I want it from that person, then keep persisting. Okay. I seem to manifest when I get pissed off about the thing not coming into 3D. It's like that's how my brain allows me to detach. How can I manifest from my God state in front of instead of anger? Ooh, Mika, what a great question. I love that. Okay, so the thing is, when we are manifesting from being pissed off, it's because we're or like we have no other choice. It's because of that exactly. You're not. Oh, good. Can you guys see me? It's not counting anymore. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh, sorry. Somebody was calling me. Let me see. I forgot I can answer on my iPad now. Oh, good, because I was about to be so pissed off. Can y'all still hear me? Can y'all hear me now? Let me know. Yes? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Heaven. Okay, let me go back to that question. Okay. Okay, all right. Not manifesting from getting pissed off from the God state. Okay. The thing is, here's the commonality between the God state and being pissed off is that you stop giving it another option. You stop saying, well, it could be like this, well, but oh, but what about this? And oh my God, no. Like, no. When you're mad, you're like, you know what, fuck this. Whatever. I don't care. This is what it is. And you don't give any room for anything else, right? But you can do that from a state of calmness and power. Like, well, no, it's like this because I said so. It's like this. And like there's something too that I've been talking about, but like you guys understanding that you as the avatar are not responsible for making things happen. Okay, so you don't need to know how it's gonna happen. When you get angry and you're like, oh, fuck this, like I don't know what to do, like it's just gonna happen. You also are releasing it. You're not saying, I have to do it anyway. You're like, man, fuck this. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna happen. I don't know. Like, and you can do that from a place of calmness and trust, right? That's it, trust, right? Trusting that the God self has taken care of it for you already. So you don't need to be angry. You don't need to be frustrated. You don't need to try. You can just accept that it's already done, right? That is the God state, you guys. The feeling of creation is finished. Everything being done. Nothing I need to do. That is the feeling of the God state, okay? Okay. How can I get rid of hell-like circumstances as early as possible? Okay, this is going to sound crazy, but gratitude. Gratitude is the easiest way to shift your state without things needing to change. When you're in hell-like circumstances, you are highly like, you know, obviously 3D is like, you know, doing this thing in front of you. So you're like, man, like, what do I do with all this? And you're in your state, like your state of mind and state of energy, state of being is in everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. Something's wrong. And so that just keeps perpetuating. Something keeps being wrong. And even in your hellish circumstance, you have things to appreciate, but you can't see those things. And so you're so focused on what's wrong, it just keeps manifesting that. When you are able, this is what, and I'm telling you this from experience, Ava, when I was like almost at my lowest, right? When I had moved into this place and everything was just going wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong. And I finally was like, oh, when's the last time I appreciated something? And to be honest, in that place, I wasn't really thinking about what I had to appreciate because it was so many problems. There were so many things, but I still had things to appreciate. When I started appreciating things, my life changed so fast. That was literally the tipping point of my life being really shitty for like a year, over a year, to things starting to work out for me. So start being grateful and go out of your way to be grateful. Okay? We are not trained to appreciate what's in front of us. We're trained to be that way. We're trained to be like, okay, but that's great. What's missing? Right? This is what I was just saying. Like, I'm living so many blessings, you guys. I'm living my dream life. But a lot of times my brain is like, yeah, that's nice, but what's next? You haven't done this yet, though. When are you going to do that? You know what I mean? Our brain is trained to be like that. So when you're thinking, ooh, there's some type of circumstance that's going to give me peace and happiness, number one, it keeps you trapped because you're like, there's a circumstance that will free me from this horrible feeling, but I'm in this horrible circumstance, so I can't be freed. I can't get into the feeling because of the circumstance. So you just stay in the circumstance wanting it to change, but the signal, the energetic signal that you're sending out is everything's going wrong. So that keeps being reflected, right? But the thing is, when you get everything that you want, you're still going to have that voice that's like, yeah, but what about all this other stuff? Right? And that voice can drag you back into horrible circumstances, right? You have to be able to say, you know what? No, I'm going to focus on what's good. I'm going to go out of my way. When you wake up in the morning, just make a short list, 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for. 3 to 5 things. When you go to bed, make a list, 3 to 5 things that worked out for me today. It can be small. I saw the cutest baby and they smiled at me. Great. Right? I ate dinner tonight, which is not something that everybody gets to say, y'all. I ate dinner tonight. Great. Okay? I saw a great video today. Great. Okay? Things good are happening to me. And you start to shift that momentum to everything's wrong to, you know what? Good things are happening to me every day. I wake up actually blessed already. I don't have to wake up like how fucked up my life is and wishing and praying and affirming for blessings that never seem to come, right? My life is already blessed. I'm already blessed. And that makes you a match to all the blessings. All the blessings, okay? So I have to go, you guys. You guys can join me. If you're a member, you can join me on Tier 2, Evolve. We're about to do some Neville reading and discussion. But for everyone else, and you can join in the description, you guys. There's a link there if you can't find it. But all the other ways I can help you also in the description. Intending that this prospers you all immensely. I will be making another video, so if I didn't get to your question, it's okay. I'm going to go back and reread these to see what I'm going to talk about. But I'm intending it prospers you immensely. I know that it has, and I will see you guys